Tonight's meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Union, which is being held pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Law, C-231, Laws of New Jersey, dated 1975. Notice of this meeting was advertised in the local source, the newspaper of record, and notice has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building adjacent to the municipal clerk's office. Roll call.
Mr. Wiley.
Here.
Ms. Martins.
Here.
Mr. Brentevegan is absent. Ms. Scott.
Here.
Mr. McNeil is absent. Ms. Little.
Here.
Mr. Graves.
Here.
Ms. Ricketts is absent. Mr. Champion.
Here, there being a quorum present, this meeting is now declared open. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from our April the 8th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the meeting minutes of April 8th, 2026 be approved as written and dispense with their reading.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? So moved. At this time, are there any communications?
There are no communications, Mr. Chairman.
Hearing none. We have one case this evening, calendar number 3472, Mario and Andrea Ferreira. Location is 635 Self-Master Parkway, Block 2710, Lot 3. It's for a pre-existing non-conforming two-family in a single-family zone. And this is a continued hearing from a previous meeting. Counselor?
Hi, good evening. Trevor Endler from Javerbaum Wergaft on behalf of the applicant. Thank you very much for your time tonight. And just to quickly summarize, we had been on previously on the March 18th meeting, and at that point we had presented architectural drawings. We had had our architect up and had gone through all the questions, but there were some confusions on the plans and some questions about how things were going to look, so we have resubmitted revised plans to you. Earlier today, our office had sent a letter to the board just sort of outlining the changes that were put in between the March 18th meeting and the plans you have in front of you now. So, Mr. Pansul, if we want to make the letter A3.
Yeah, no, A3 will be the revised plans
Okay.
that we were submitted, 6 sheets. As council referenced, those were submitted a couple weeks ago. They were circulated. The summary letter came in today. I think it's a nice roadmap for the board because it does capture what I'll call conditions, because that was the purpose of the adjournment. And it gives a summary, which I imagine we'll hear testimony tonight from the planner, kind of tying everything together. So it did fulfill what the board had expected in terms of revisions. The commitment, as you see in the points, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different bullet points that were offered, kind of summarizing mostly the basement, but there was some impervious coverage issues. So we'll mark that A4 just for identification purposes. I know you're not going to testify, obviously, about it, but it's a nice summary, so we can pick up from there.
Okay. Yeah, so just I'll have the plans and I can run through them with you as well. The revised plans, everything in the bubble that's been bubble outlined is the changes. So it's the changes to the zoning table because there was some inconsistencies between what we had presented last time and what was actually existing. So we have So, as we had previously mentioned, there's impervious coverage, and we are over currently. It was previously at 66.7%, and now is at 73.1%, or the proposed is for 73.1%, and that includes the changes that were listed on the letter, which is removing the gravel area in the front, planting new grass there, shrinking the patio covered area in the back lot and replacing that with grass as well, and removing some of the pavers and sidewalk area. So it brings us to that total of 73.1, right? Yeah, 73.1%. The other changes are majority are in the basement. where we had, that's the second floor. We're showing that the kitchenette that is currently existing in the house is being removed, and it's cut and capped on the plumbing like you guys had asked for last time. And then also altering the window in the basement to make sure that it is below the standards of an egress window, and removing any walls to sort of remove any livable space in the basement area. So that's all of the changes. If you want, I can bring up my architect and he can walk you through more specifically if there's any specific questions about the changes that have been made. But that,
I think he testified to that. I think the purpose from the board, and I think one of the board members even specified, they just wanted to see the revisions ahead of time, to kind of commit you to them. We've noted it as a condition, the lack of living space in the basement, so I think you probably can move on.
okay.
with
Yeah,
the
just
planner,
wanted to-
unless anybody, board members have specific questions about any of the
Are
changes.
there any board members that would like to question the testimony you just heard? Any members of the public like to question the testimony? Hearing none, do you have a witness, or?
Yeah, we do. I
Okay.
would like to bring up Jennifer Barnett. She is our planner.
Can I ask the witness to swear or affirm that the testimony you provide this evening is the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
And for the record, could you state and spell your name with your affiliation?
Jennifer Barnett, B-A-R-N-E-T-T. I'm a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey.
Thank you.
Ms. Barnett, you just mentioned that you're a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey. Can you walk the board through your qualifications?
I've been a licensed planner for about 3 months, but my background is in engineering, so I've done a bit of planning testimony. I am also a licensed engineer.
We'll accept our credentials.
Thank you. Ms. Barnett, can you just walk the board back through the variances that are being requested as a part of this application, and provide the justifications?
Sure. So this is 635 Self-Master Parkway. It's block 2710, Lot 3. It's located in the RA zone, which the only permitted use, well, single family is a permitted use in the RA zone. We're a two-family dwelling. It's an existing nonconformity, and it's going to remain a two-family dwelling, but because we're expanding upon it, we need D2 use variance. There's also several existing nonconformities that require C variance relief. So the existing nonconformities that will remain unchanged are the lot area. Our lot area is 3,865 square feet, where 5,000 square feet is required. Lot width, our lot width is 40.57 feet, where 50 feet is required. Our lot depth is 95.26 feet, where 100 feet is required. Our minimum front yard setback is 13.9 feet. That's existing. 25 feet is required. Our side yard setback is 3.07 feet on the left side, where 5 feet is required. The right side is conforming. The accessory building in the back, the garage, that has a setback, a side yard setback of 0.25 feet, where 3 feet is required, and our accessory building rear yard setback is 1.85 feet, where 3 feet is required, and our existing lot coverage is 66.7%, where 60% is allowed. So we are seeking approval for a D2 variance, which is an expansion of a non-conforming use. Because we're keeping it the same and we're just building up, we're not increasing building coverage. There isn't a lot of construction that's going to happen. I'm sorry. Do you want me to go into the proof?
Yeah, you can go
Okay.
right into it.
Just
Yeah.
keep going?
Unless
Okay.
there's any questions from the board at this time, but
No.
we can go right into it.
Go ahead.
So we are seeking D2 use variance approval. This application I'm going to do the D variance relief first, and then I'll move into the C variance. So for this application, promotes the general welfare, which promotes the planning within the state. So these improvements are designed to make the existing two-family home function better. The bedroom count for each unit's not changing, so the intensity of the overall structure is not going to be increased. The master plan of Union Township promotes smart growth, which they define as taking advantage of compact building design. We're not increasing the size of the building. That's going to stay the same. It also creates a range of housing opportunities and choices within the community. This is an existing two-family use. This exhibit just shows other two-family uses within the immediate area, so it's not out of character for the neighborhood. This neighborhood also has sidewalks, and it has a good walkable community, and this creates a sense of place. Our plans accomplish the goals of the smart growth mentioned in the master plan by maintaining the existing two-family use and just improving its flow and design. This also addresses housing needs. The two-family home creates diverse housing options in the community. So that promotes the purpose of the municipal land use law. It's also particularly suitable for the property. The existing building and infrastructure can promote the existing use that we're improving upon, and this minimizes the need for new construction and reduces environmental impacts and reduces disturbance to the neighbors. As noted, this is an existing two-family house, and it is going to remain a two-family house. No increase in the bedroom, so the intensity will not change. Upgrading the building will also enhance the overall appearance in the neighborhood, so that supports the purposes of the municipal land use law to create a desirable visual environment. For the C1 variance relief that is being sought, this is the hardship. Our lot as it exists is undersized for the zone. So we can't change anything about the size and shape of the lot. We're doing our best to keep it as is. We're not changing the size of the building. We're not decreasing any of the setbacks. We are requesting lot coverage variance. However, this results from the improvements to the front of the building. They're adding 2 stoops, separate entrances for each of the units, and there are 2 walkways from the sidewalk to those doors, so that was an increase in coverage. And then we're providing a small patio area in the rear yard that's just an amenity for the tenants who live there. And this, if we had a conforming lot size of 5,000 square feet, we would have a conforming lot coverage of 57%. So because of the undersized nature of the lot, that is why we are seeking a variance for the lot coverage. And then just for the benefits versus detriments, the C2 portion. So the benefits would need to outweigh any detriments to the community. Because we're keeping it as a 2-family, we're not taking a house down, we're not building a new house, there's not going to be any construction. So no disturbance to the neighbors there. And then the increase in the coverage for the new walkways and the patio, just it just makes the house look a little nicer, a little more inviting. The backyard patio just gives space for the people who live there to be outside and enjoy the weather. So I feel that this promotes the purposes of planning a general welfare, C, light, air, open space, I, desirable visual impact, and M, efficient use of the land. I don't think this development would cause any substantial harm to the public good. It promotes the zoning ordinance and the master plan, and I believe it advances the smart growth goals of the township's master plan.
And Ms. Barnett, have you received the Collier's review letter that's dated March 16th, 2026?
Yes.
Do you have any issues complying with the statements in that letter?
No.
At this time, I have no further questions of this witness.
Are there any board members that would like to question the testimony Ms. Barnett has provided? Hearing none,
Just
are
the
there
one
any?
thing I'd like to, just for the record with the planner and council, we referenced this at 631 self-master. Reasonable efforts, not a condition per se, but we'd like to just make a statement so I could put it in the resolution that the tenants will be using reasonable efforts for the garage and driveway space for the parking, since they're compliant. Anyone knows self-master, we know parking's a premium. You are compliant, so there's nothing there that I'm suggesting needs to be cured. But because you have the driveway spaces in the garage, doesn't mean you're going to use them. Reasonable efforts from the occupants, or the tenants, that comes from direction from the owner, whatever the living arrangement is, if they're going to keep it and rent it, that the people who live there are going to use the driveway and garage for their intended purposes for the vehicles, rather than using up spaces on self-master.
Yeah, of course, that's no problem. And actually, you reminded me, just for the record, we should probably label this as Exhibit A5. It was previously used in the 631 as well, but it's also being used here. So it's a tax map that shows all the uses and the two-family houses in the zone, in the immediate area.
The one that's on the screen?
Correct. It had been referenced, but I realized it hadn't actually been put into the record.
Are there any members of the public that would like to question Ms. Barnett? Hearing none. Counselor, do you have another witness?
No, I have no other witnesses.
Then would you like to sum up?
Yes. Thank you again for your time, both this evening and in March. As we testified today, the house is an existing two-family, so we're not asking to increase the use at all, and we're actually keeping the bedroom count at exactly the same. And we listened and heard your comments from the last hearing about the livable space in the basement, and so that's why we made all these changes, and we hope that the changes that are shown on these plans are sufficient to warrant a yes vote in favor of the application. Thank you so much.
At this time, I believe we can conference this. Ms. Scott, would you like to begin?
Good evening, everyone. I see no issues with the revised plans, and can appreciate that you took the board's and the board counselors' advice and revising the plans and coming back before us. And so I think the property now probably is aesthetically pleasing to the community, so I see no negative impacts, and I will be voting yes.
Mr. Graves?
Since plans have been modified, especially dealing with the basement, I will now be voting yes with the application.
Mr. Wiley?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleagues. I don't see any the positives outweigh the negatives, especially with the changes that they've made in the basement. That's where I had some concerns about it being a living spaces like a kitchen or whatever, but now that they've made the changes, I see no problem with this project. It's going to improve the neighborhood. Like Mrs. Scott said, it is aesthetically pleasing, and I'm going to vote yes.
Ms. Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After reviewing the revised plans and hearing the changes this evening, this is definitely a great improvement to the current site, so I will be voting yes as well.
Ms. Little?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleagues. I'm happy to see that the applicants did make the necessary changes. It doesn't change the character of the neighborhood, and I think it's a good application, and I will be voting yes.
As for myself, based on the revised plans and tonight's testimony, I feel the applicant justified the variance as requested and will not have a negative impact on the neighbors. I feel now it's a good application. The house needs a lot of repair, and you're really going to improve the look of the neighborhood. So I, too, will vote yes. Roll call. Excuse me. May I have a motion and a second to adopt the application?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board grant the variances applicable to this application, and the council is directed to prepare a resolution consistent with the board's decision.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Wiley?
Yes.
Ms. Martins?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Champion?
Yes.
May 20th would be the resolution, May 20th.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There being no further business coming before the board, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? So moved.